Hey, I'm Aaron from GameEnthus.com, and in this one, I'm going to be talking about Marvel Dice Throne. Marvel Dice Throne was designed by Gavan, Chatellier, and Manny Trembley, with art from Damien Mammoliti, I'm pronouncing that correctly. Marvel Dice Throne was also published by the Op and Roxley. Marvel Dice Throne is essentially the Marvel version of Dice Throne. If you're not familiar with Dice Throne is a series of games where players can take on the role of different characters, different abilities and powers, rolling dice, and using those dice to unlock superpowers. So some people describe it as like a Yahtzee on steroids with combat kind of thing. I mean, there's a lot more going on with it, but you definitely are chucking those dice and essentially trying to defeat your opponents, to whittle their health down to nothing. It can be played 1v1, 2v2, I think 3v3, 2v2, 2v2v2, and then of course everybody for themselves. Let me show you how it works. Okay, so this is what a two-player setup in Marvel Dice Throne might look like. Well, specifically for Black Widow and the Black Panther, who've certainly had their fair share of disagreements, much like many of the other characters. But those disagreements can go from a minor tiff to something far more serious. Enough about that. Kind of a lot going on here, but I'll do my best to explain. For those who are familiar with the original Dice Throne, there's not a whole lot of differences in terms of how the game is played. The characters can be different, but the core mechanics are pretty much the same and pretty sound between regular Dice Throne and Marvel Dice Throne. So you're going to have your player boards, which are going to have your different abilities based on the different die rolls that you do. Every player has their own status effect. Like Black Widow has Covert Ops, so it lets you rearrange cards, lets you spend things a little bit differently. She's a spy, makes sense. She has Agility, which allows her to evade and to avoid damage sometimes, and Time Bombs, which are very much a Black Widow thing. And her die are, 2 of the faces are Espionage, 3 are Batons, and then the 6th is the Widow logo. And her ultimate is the Widow's Bite. Search your deck for up to 2 ability upgrades and put them directly into play, then shuffle your deck, inflict Time Bomb, deal 10 points of damage. Certain that everybody starts at 50, and every character is going to have some cards that are just generic ones that just have different effects. Like this one says, tip it, increase or decrease any die by the value of 1, and it costs 1 combat point. And your combat points start at 2, and then each turn, with exceptions based on status effects that you might have on your character, you will always gain a combat point and then take a card from the aforementioned deck. And then some of the cards are character specific, and you can also upgrade. So I mentioned Grapple, which is right here. You could spend 2 combat points and then you can upgrade Grapple. So it would go from gaining 1 agility, and when you have a status effect, you put that effect on your character or on the character on your opponent that it's supposed to be on. And sometimes they do have limits, like Agility has a stack limit of 2, Time Bomb has a limit of 2, and then Covert Ops is a limit of 3. I should also mention that all of the characters have a certain type of rating for complexity. So Black Panther and Captain Marvel come in a box. Doctor Strange and Black Widow come in a box. Both Black Panther and Captain Marvel are both rated level 2, so they're not too complex. They're really good starter characters. Black Widow is a level 4, so she's a little more complex, and then Doctor Strange is a level 5. So well, that just means that some of their abilities are require a little more practice, I guess, to use a little more. It's a little more experience to get adjusted to. But Black Widow is really all about stealth and agility, avoiding things, setting bombs, all that kind of stuff. Black Panther is a very offensive character. He does not defend. In fact, Black Widow sabotages, and then she deals damage back, but she does not necessarily. And she also prevents damage. Black Panther's ability and his vibranium suit can absorb kinetic energy and store it, and then send it out. So Black Panther takes on damage and then inflicts his opponents with it. So a little bit different. So Black Panther's ultimate is Wakanda Forever. You get that if you roll all 5 of the Panther face on your die, and you would get the vibranium suit. So you would take that from here and then put it on the Black Panther, and you would gain 3 kinetic energy, and you have 8 kinetic energy, and you have a stack limit of 8. Every tube allows you to increase your damage attack by 1 that's defendable. If you see a 1 with the kind of jaggy circle around it and it's black, that's defendable damage. If it's red, it's undefendable. Undefendable means your opponent does not have an opportunity to roll the die and hopefully get some of these actions going to either defend it, perhaps depending on the character, is defend it, block it, what have you, or in the case of Black Panther, just do more damage directly to you. So anyway, Wakanda Forever, you gain the suit, you get 3 kinetic energy, and then you deal 11 undefendable damage. Black Panther also has a passive ability, which is whenever damage is successfully dealt, you gain 1 kinetic energy. So when you get hit, you're just storing up that energy. Just storing it up. And if you reach the stack limit, meaning you have all 8 kinetic energy icons on the Black Panther, you remove them, gain 2 combat points, draw 2 cards, and then deal 5 undefendable damage to a chosen player. So yes, it's kinetic. So that's, yes, the Black Panther's kinetic. The Black Panther's passive ability is pretty cool because it allows the Black Panther to store up energy and then just hit somebody and they can't defend it, which is kind of nice. All right, so when the game begins, each player would take one of their die, roll them. Whoever has the highest number would go first. So Black Panther's gonna go first. Panther had a 5, and Black Widow had a 2. Also, 4 cards. Every player starts off with 4 cards in their hand. There is a hand size limit of 6. You are able to sell cards at the beginning of your turn, and every card you sell allows you to increase your combat points. And combat points are essentially how you can use some of your abilities on your board, but very importantly, they help you to upgrade abilities on your board and then spend some of the action cards to inflict damage, heal, what have you. So I very sloppily laid out Black Widow's cards, and this is what Black Panther has. We have strength of will, which is an attack modifier, costs 1 combat point, and if you roll a 5, you get to add 1 defendable damage. One times how much damage you're doing. Bye-bye is remove a status effect from the chosen player. So that could be you or someone else. And also notice it has an exclamation point on it. What that means is this can be played anytime. It does not have to just be played on your turn. Get that out of here. Remove a status effect token from a chosen player. This is similar to Bye-bye, the difference being you can only play it during your main phase, not anytime you want. It costs less too. This one is 2 combat points, this one is 1. And then this is an upgrade for Stealth Strike. The original does 3 undefendable damage. This one will do 4. So beginning of everyone's turn, you do the upkeep phase, which means you resolve any status effect that was in play, I guess when your turn started. Then you do the income phase. So I'm going to gain 1 combat point. I have 2 now. I'm going to go up to 3. I'm going to draw an additional card. This card is 1 more time. A chosen player may perform an additional roll attempt of up to 5 dice during their offensive roll phase. So when you're attacking, that's pretty cool. So after that is the main phase. Play ability upgrades. Play main phase. So you can play ability upgrades, play main phase action cards. So this is an upgrade. These are action cards. You can sell cards to earn 1 combat point per card. Then you roll. You take up to 3 different rolls. Then you target roll phase, meaning you choose who you're going to attack. I only have 1 opponent. They each have 1 opponent, each other. That's that. Then you do the main phase again, meaning you can play more upgrades, play more action cards, sell cards. Then you get to discard down to 6 if you have more than 6 cards, and that's your full turn. It also reminds you to check your passive ability because they're passive. You don't have to do anything. It just happens because life. Black Panther's passive ability is to add kinetic energy every time they get hit. So that doesn't happen. So I am going to spend 1 combat point to upgrade Black Panther to Stealth Strike 2. Spend 1 combat point to do that. And I don't have any status effects on me. So that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to take 5 die. Let's see what we got here. All right, so I do have 3 of the vibranium icons. So this means I could do the heart-shaped herb, which means I get the suit and I get 3 kinetic energy. If I get the suit, it means a player with this token may spend it to prevent 3 incoming damage. Token may not be transferred by any means, but it can be removed. Okay. That seems pretty good. Triple threat here, that seems pretty good too. Even if you don't have the suit, your abilities are still centered on the suit taking damage to build the kinetic energy. But you know, it's a game. I'm going to roll these 3. So this is my second roll. Okay, let's see what we have here. So we have 2 claws, 2 vibranium, and then 1 panther. So I'm gonna do the triple threat. So I do have another roll, but I think I'm gonna do this one. So deal 6 damage and roll 2 dice. Add 1 defendable damage per claw that comes out. If I roll a vibranium, I gain 2 kinetic energy, and if I roll a panther, I draw 1 card. I'm gonna do a defendable attack of 6 on Black Widow. Plus, I'm going to add, plus I'm gonna roll 2. And if I get claws, I get to add a damage per claw. Of course, I didn't get any claws. Attempted to do 6 damage to Black Widow. Now, players playing Black Widow would respond by focusing on her sabotage ability. I get to roll 3 dice, and I deal 1 damage for every baton icon that comes up, and every espionage icon that comes up, the green ones, I would prevent 1 of the damages. If I get 2 of the Black Widow icons, I inflict Time Bomb onto Black Panther. Okay, so we got 2 espionage, so that's gonna prevent 2 damage. So 6 coming in, 2 prevented, so that's a loss of 4. So Black Widow is now down to 46. I now get a chance to do the main action again, so I can play more cards, upgrades, etc. The idea is if you are doing things that allow you to get more cards during, after you pass the main phase, you have another main phase, you can do more, which is kind of dope actually. Black Widow is going to, upkeep. There's no status effects here. She still has 3 of her covert ops over here. You may play. Okay. All right. So Black Widow's going to gain a combat point and go up to 3. Widow's also going to draw another card. So now Black Widow has 5 cards. Let's see if there's anything that she should play here. No upgrade. Oh, no, there's an upgrade. Sabotage 2. It's going to cost 2 combat points. Okay, you get to roll 4 die. That's worth it. So that's 2 combat points. So Black Widow's going to go down to 1. I feel like that's worth it. And then Sabotage. Now, the default one was you get to roll 3 dice. Now you get to roll 4. I think everything else is pretty much the same. But that's still cool. I mean, you get a whole nother die to roll. So nothing wrong with that. That's all she's going to do for right now. And we'll roll for Black Widow. Let's see what we got here. So we have 2 batons, 2 espionage, and a Black Widow icon. Okay. So you need at least 3 batons to just do like a basic strike. Just like everybody kind of has like a basic, get 3 of the attack icon, do an attack for 4, get 4 of them. Although hers do more damage though. Let's do 5, 6, 7. Black Panthers do 4, 5, 6. Interesting. Okay, the Widow's Gauntlets. Gain a combat point, deal 6 defendable damage. Add 1 defendable damage per ability upgrade you have. I don't have any right now. I'm gonna roll this again. Maybe I can get, if I get the Black Widow icon. Oh, actually, I could do Infiltrate, which I gain an agility, and then advance all the time bombs, and inflict the time bombs. Well, you know what? I kind of want to attack. So let's see if I can get a baton here. And nope. Well, I got a baton, but that's not what I wanted. So I could do 5 damage right now. So I'm gonna hang on to this and do 1 more roll. I'm not sure why I'm doing this, but here we are. And I pretty much rolled the exact same thing. So, all right. So Black Widow's gonna do 5 defendable damage to Black Panther. Black Panthers, with Shenga's Honor ability, allows me to roll 3 dice and then deal undefendable damage for every slash icon that comes up. So let's see. So that's 2 slash icons. That's undefendable. So 5 came over. So I'm taking 5 damage. So I did take damage. So I'm going to take another kinetic energy. So Black Widow gets hit for 2. So she is now down to 44 because it's undefendable when it comes back. So those are 2 very simple, quick turns in a game that offers really a lot of complexity between the various characters that it has. I mean, you got Thor and Loki and Captain Marvel, who's sort of like a starter character in the same way that Black Panther is. And then you have Miles Morales, who's very combo heavy. And going along with how Spider-Man fights, a lot of combos and ricocheting off things and bouncing back. Doctor Strange is more of an advanced character, and then you have Scarlet Witch, who is clearly no slouch. So a lot here. And then when you're playing with more than 2 people, you are choosing who you want to attack. Maybe you want to attack the person who has the fewest number of health points to get them, eliminate them. That makes sense. That's the thing. So yeah, let me head back up to the top and tell you what my thoughts are. So I don't think I said this earlier, but I came into Dice Throne with Marvel Dice Throne. That was my first Dice Throne experience. So that's where I cut my teeth. Yeah, I had heard things about it's like Yahtzee and that kind of stuff. Yes, you're rolling dice, hoping to have certain things come up so you can enable certain abilities, certain powers, but there's a lot more going on. All that being said, Marvel Dice Throne is fantastic. It is such a fun game, whether you're doing 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, you're playing teams. It's a fantastic series. And I actually had a chance to play some of the original Dice Throne, and I had just as much fun. No, I was not as familiar with the character, but it was the core gameplay is the same. I mean, it basically is. You're chucking those dice, unlocking abilities, and figuring out what can I do to really whittle my opponent's health down, while hopefully making mine increase, if at all. I'll be explaining things a little bit slow in this video, but I mean, once you really know what you're doing, you are chucking those dice, and you're gonna know what to do. Oh, I got 3 of those. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm using this card to combine this. Very fun system. Very well designed. It's a great game. So I highly recommend Marvel Dice Throne. Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you for watching. Take care. Stay safe, and be blessed.